Hello world, in this video we're going to install and configure SublimeText in Linux Mint 17. If you're not familiar with SublimeText, I recommend heading over to SublimeText.com and checking out some of the documentation there. I'm sure, just by watching this intro video on the website, you'll see a lot of the powerful things that it can do for you. In order for us to install it, we are going to use something called a PPA from Ubuntu, and if you're not sure what that is, here's the definition. It's just a personal package archive, kind of unique to Ubuntu at this time. It's an unofficially supported repository, so everything in here is used at your own risk, but they do provide a lot of useful packages through this. So if we search for SublimeText 3 Ubuntu PPA, you'll find the web update site and come to this page. And we just scroll down and you'll find the installation instructions. So we're just going to copy and paste these commands into our command terminal. Okay, now we can update our system so that it will know where to find the package to install. And then we'll just go ahead and install it. Alright, now it's installed. We can go down to our menu, open it up, go to the programming section, and you'll see SublimeText. You can right click on it and click add to panel, and it'll put a launcher down here in your toolbar. Now we're going to go ahead and open SublimeText for the first time. And the first thing we're going to do is set our user preferences. So if you go to the preferences menu, you'll see in SublimeText that there are default settings and user settings. The default settings are things that will get overwritten when you update Sublime. So these are the package defaults. And if you want to change any of those and save them long term, you should put them into the user file. So that's the same kind of pattern throughout all the settings. There's a default which will get overwritten when you update, and a user that will be kept indefinitely. So if we open the default settings, you can see all the different options you have to change in here, and they're all pretty well documented, so you should be able to figure out what each of the settings is going to change or do. And I want to change the font size, so I'm just going to copy it out of the default settings and paste it into my user settings, and then change it in my user settings. And as soon as you save it, the change will be applied. So just to give you an idea of what my user settings look like on my system, I'm going to copy and paste my user settings in. And this one here will break things, so I'm going to take it out because that plugin is not installed yet. When I save, all of these are now applied. So you can see that there's a highlighter over here in the right nav bar, and the line is highlighted. Tab sizes are changed to 2 spaces. These are all the kind of things that I do because I set up my JS linter to match these settings, so trim trailing white spaces and ensure a new line of NF file on save. Those are all things that JS lint would pick up anyways, so I figure, if my text editor can help me get past those errors when I'm coding, then it's that much more useful to me. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is the key bindings. So key bindings are the keyboard shortcuts in Sublime, and you can customize those as well. So if we go to the key bindings user, you'll see it's empty. It's the same thing. You want to just find the default, copy it, paste it, and change it. So this setting for save as, Control-Shift-S. If you look in your file menu, save as is mapped to Control-Shift-S. And I don't use save as very much, but I use save all very often. So I want to map save all to Control-Shift-S. So what I'm going to do is just take this key binding out of the default settings, paste it into my user settings, and change this to save all. Now when I save it, you'll see in the file menu, save as is no longer mapped to Shift-Control-S, but save all is. The next key binding we're going to change has to do with adding multiple cursors to the file. If you're not familiar with SublimeText, you can add multiple active cursors to the same file and do edits across many different cursors at the same time, which is really nice. We're going to go to the default key mappings and search for something called select lines. So the select lines, right now it's mapped to Alt-Shift down and Alt-Shift up, and that doesn't work on my system. I think the operating system must intercept that. So I'm going to change it here, and I'm just going to remove the shift from the command. So it's just going to be Alt up and Alt down. So when I save that and I hold in Alt and press up, I get multiple cursors up, and I hold Alt and press down, I get multiple cursors down. Okay, now that we have everything customized and you know how to go ahead and set your preferences, we'll begin installing packages. So we'll close all these out and get rid of that. And we'll go to something called package control. So if we go to Google, SublimeText package control install. So if you go to the packagecontrol.io website, click on installation, and you'll see this tab for SublimeText 3. We want to just copy this code here and open up a terminal in Sublime using either of those instructions. We'll do control backtick, copy in the code, press enter, and that will install package control. Package control just basically lets us install plugins in Sublime much easier. Otherwise you have to do it manually. So now that's done, and we need to restart SublimeText. So now if we press Control-Shift-P, package control installed something else and we have to restart it again. That's normal. We'll just restart it. Press Control-Shift-P again. And if you type package control, you can see all the different options that you have that package control will do for you. Or you could just type install and click on package control install. That will bring up a list of all the plugins that you can install through package control. And the first one we're going to install is called Emmet, E-M-M-E-T. If you're doing any sort of HTML coding, then Emmet is definitely going to be your best friend. The README says to please restart the editor, so we'll restart SublimeText again. And now we have Emmet installed. So we can close that, and we'll create a new file. We'll call it index.html, just to show you what Emmet can do real quick. We'll save that on the desktop. And we'll just type HTML and press tab, and then we'll type body and press tab, and then we'll type ul close li times 4 close a tab, and get a list of 4 links. And then if I hold in Alt and press up, I can edit these links at the same time. And yeah, it's once you get to know how to use SublimeText, things become a lot more efficient. I'll put a link to the Emmet website in the description so you can go there and check out how to use it and make the most of it. Next, we are going to start installing some other tools to help us develop. And the first thing we're going to do is install less. So if you click on this bottom right hand corner where it says HTML right now, you'll see a list of all the file types that are supported by SublimeText, and these all have syntax highlighting for them and auto completion and things like that. But if you look, less is not in here, and we're going to use, I use less as my CSS preprocessor. There's also Sass. Sass is not in here either, so you'd have to install a plugin for that. Same process, you just Control-Shift-P, install, and then type in less, and you get the less syntax highlighting. Click on it, it'll install. Now if you look in this list, there's less. So now if I create a file and I call it style.less, save it in the desktop, there you go. Now you have syntax highlighting for less. Because if I would have created this file before I installed that plugin, it would have just created it as a plain text file and it wouldn't have had any syntax highlighting. So I can type things like body, background, yep, and it syntax highlights just like CSS, which is really nice. The next plugin that we're going to install is called Bracket Highlighter. So we'll do Control-Shift-P, Control-Shift-P, install, and type Bracket Highlighter. And what this does is highlights your brackets for you. So you can see in the left margin over here, when I highlight a bracket, it tells me where the other matching bracket is, so I don't have to search through. You know, when you get really long files and files with a lot of brackets mixed around, it's kind of hard sometimes to find the matching bracket even if it is underlined. But this plugin's nice because it just puts the matching bracket location in the left nav bar, or the left margin. So that's a no-brainer. Let's do the next one. We'll do is color highlight. So Control-Shift-P, install, color highlighter, and this will highlight colors that are in your CSS file. So as you're typing a color, if you change it, the color will update on its own and show you what color you have. For our final plugin that we're going to install in this video, this one's a little bit more involved, but it will give us a great JavaScript utility. It's called Sublime Linter. So Control-Shift-P, install, and Sublime Linter. So Sublime Linter is the base package, and then you have to install other plugins on top of it to actually get the linter that you want. So we'll install Sublime Linter, and we will restart SublimeText just to be safe. And then I'm going to use the Sublime Linter ESLint. So it's Sublime Linter contrib ESLint, and that will install the ESLint plugin. Now this plugin does have one dependency, and that is you must install the actual ESLint node module in your Node.js. So if you haven't installed Node.js yet, check out my video on how to install Node.js in Linux Mint, and then come back and install Node or ESLint. So what we'll do is we'll go to the command line, go npm install -g ESLint. That will put the ESLint package into npm, and that's where Sublime Linter ESLint will look for it. Alright, now that's installed. Now we can come here and we'll create a JavaScript file. We'll call it app.js, save it on the desktop. So if I do something like function x, you can see already that there's some things being highlighted as I type. We'll go if, and we'll just leave it empty, and you can see there's a red box here where it has an error. And if I click on the red box and I look down here in the bottom, it says parsing error, unexpected token. So it's because the if is empty. So if I put true in here, then the error goes away. And that is very helpful to help you keep your JavaScript in good condition as you're coding it, so you don't have to run it through a linter after the fact and then go look through a bunch of output in your terminal. Having a linter actually built into the text editor is really helpful. So that's our final package, and now we have SublimeText installed and configured for front-end development, and we can start building stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel to support me if you want to see more, and leave a comment, of course. I'm always interested to hear what you have to say and to see if you guys have any ideas of what you would like to learn next. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.